From the octagon fire to the studio mics. Tune in weekly, we're dropping the spikes. Analyzing every punch, every kick that lands. Maniacs in the game, playing with fans' demands. Ken's got the insight, Joe's got the flair. Mapping out the fights will take you anywhere. So grab your popcorn, buckle up tight.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
What's up? What's up? Back again, MMAniacs Podcast. I'm joined as always by Bare Knuckle Ken. He's even got the right placard in there this time. Although you see him in front of his Green Bay Packers fan cave. We need to get you a Carlson Gracie sign up there, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Send one this way. I ain't against a Gracie.
Yeah, dude. Like, maybe I'll try to get you one from my school, my academy, like Mourinho Jiu-Jitsu, like, because that's my professor, Mourinho. But he's under the Carlson. Is my next wife. Mackenzie Dern's got cakes, dude. There's no doubting it. But whatever. Yeah, dude. So we're a couple days away from the big card. But before we get into the show, I just wanted to let everybody know it's going to be kind of a crazy show because my kids have a half day at school, so I'm going to have to go pick them up, and I'm going to try to do the show while I'm picking them up. Hopefully Nick stops by, so, if there's any interruption because of my picking up the kids, then, you'll be able to carry it on with Nick until I can get back on it, because I'm pretty sure when I leave my house, it's going to cut out for a minute. And yeah, Fred, she's a hell of a jiu-jitsu fighter, and her stand-up game has improved, but I don't know if I'd call her a hell of a fighter. Like, she's pretty much been 500 in her last 5 to 8 fights. She won the belt, but she won it because she did more damage from the bottom when Verna was taking her down. I don't think her win was particularly impressive. And I also thought that 49-46 card was extremely wide. I felt like it was egregious. That fight was much closer than 49-46. But hats off to her. She, the UFC wanted to make her a champion, and they made her a champion. And but I firmly expect that she's going to lose that belt in her first title defense. She's going to be fighting Tatiana Suarez, and I don't think that's going to go well for her. But she has a chance. That jiu-jitsu is legit, and she's a world champion jiu-jitsu fighter. So I'm not saying she can't win. It's just going to be a very difficult fight, and I would not put my money on her, is all I'm saying. But jiu-jitsu is tough, man. I mean, I just decided to eat a tasty knee today, doing a takedown. So I got a fat lip, busted my mouth up. I was telling Ken this funny story so I train with this one guy. He's about 26 years old. He's a young guy, no wife, no kids, like living the dream. He's a waiter at the French Laundry. So there's this guy he works also at the French Laundry in the kitchen. He's like in the back. And he's been talking mad shit to my boy that I train with, right? And so he's been saying, like, just talking about how tough he is and how good of a fighter he is and this and that. And my boy's been like, yeah, okay. You should come check out jiu-jitsu, and the guy's like, I don't do that yoga shit that you do, right? And like, so my boy took it personal. He was like, well, why don't you come do a trial class then and then, see how it is. So sure enough, dude showed up. He did a trial class, and at the end of the class, he sparred with my boy, and my boy just put a whooping on him, dude. Like and this dude's way bigger. He's like 210. He's jacked. He's solid muscle, dude. Like, but he got fucked up. And like, boy was telling the story today. Because I asked him, because like he introduced him like, this is my friend such and such to the class. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, is such and such gonna come back? He was like, I don't give a fuck, dude. He's like, I proved what I had to prove, like, so basically the whole thing was this elaborate plot by my boy to get him in there so he could strangle him, dude. Oh, And then I told him too. I was like, "Hey, you realize you're bulletin board material now, right? Like this motherfucker's got a picture of you on his punching bag, and he's at the house with the Rocky montage, like motherfuckers playing Eye of the Tiger, and he's training hard. Like he's sweating, dude, like sweat pouring, and he's just pounding that bag like with your face on it. He's like, I don't give a fuck. He can bring it, and oh, we did this like while we were doing our warm up. We were doing our laps around the mat, and so like our whole class was just dying laughing while we were running because he said, I don't give a fuck. He's like, let him. He said, let him train. Like I was like, dude, either that or he's gonna be back next week with a membership. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, yeah, dude. It's as a former wrestler, you might not be as bad as you think, Fred. Like, former wrestlers tend to do pretty well in jiu-jitsu. The only thing that they really struggle with in the beginning is guard, because as a wrestler, you train your whole life to not be on your back, and in guard, you're on your back. So it's just very uncomfortable for wrestlers in the beginning. But once you figure out how to be on your back and be comfortable on your back, like, then yeah, dude, the wrestlers, they have a really big advantage. They tend to get promoted really quick, because of their understanding of control and pressure and things like that. Plus their takedown ability, defending and taking people down. Wrestlers tend to do very well. In fact, there's a guy, like I said, I train with. He's a former D1 wrestler at Missouri, and he's my age, but this dude's a killer, bro. Like, man, he's a load, dude. He's a tough guy to deal with.
Yeah, and Fred, shoot me a message on Facebook on either Packer Backer News or my personal one, Ken Catalone. We'll get you hooked up, buddy.
Hooked up with what?
He's having a little trouble since Stream East went down.
Oh, yeah, dude. I don't want to put it out there on the show because then we're gonna get it. You're gonna get it blown up. But yeah, send a message, and we'll send you the. Ken sent me one too because I used to have one and then it went down. Because we're a hoy matey over here, dude.
Oh yeah, raising the flag all day.
Take everything and give nothing back. But yeah, dude. I mean, exciting times. We got this big card coming this weekend. I've been waiting for this card, especially for the co-main event. It seems like they were building, like they were making the. When I say making, it's like they were talking about it, and then like you didn't know if it was going to happen. This Valentina versus Zhang fight, they were talking about it for a while. It seems like it took like almost a year to put this fight together, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seemed like this one was coming for a long time. They'd constantly kind of hint at it, but nothing official for quite a while. But now that we got it, I couldn't be more freaking energized and ecstatic for this fight because Zhang Wei Li, I really like her because she's got one of my favorite traits: hands like cement bricks.
Honestly, man, there's not too many traits that Zhang doesn't have. Like, I just saw a video of her in her training camp, and she is yoked, dude. Like, she was doing some flexing, dude. She is yoked, bro. Like, I don't know. It makes me wonder, like, are they doing the Ivan Drago training camp? Like, they're like injecting her with horse semen and shit, or what, dude? Like, I don't know, bro. She looks fucking built. Like, and just to be clear, I'm not accusing Zhang Weili of performance enhancing drugs. It's just a joke. Like, I'm just pointing out that she looks really fucking yoked, dude. It's gonna be a tough fight for Valentina, dude. Really? Wow, you're the only person I know that's happened to.
We can get you on the seas correctly.
Yeah, dude. We'll patch your boat up. So yeah, dude, it's that fight is gonna be just. It's so hard to call. Like, obviously, Zhang has the power advantage when it comes to the striking,
Mm-hmm.
but Valentina is so technical, like, but she's gonna have to be because she can't afford to get into these rapid fire exchanges with Zhang. She's got to get in, hit her, get out. Like, and she can do it. Like, I've seen Valentina be able to do it, a straight kickboxing match for 5 rounds. But eventually, it's going to go to the ground, and so I'll be interested to see because generally Valentina is able to overpower her opponents in the grappling. She's very strong, and her grappling is ridiculous. But I don't know if she's going to be able to overpower Zhang like that. Zhang is strong as shit, dude. And her grappling in that Tatiana Suarez fight really impressed me, dude. Because Tatiana is a world-class grappler, and she made her look amateur, dude. Like, it's, I don't know, man. Like, I really want Valentina to win because this would be like the capstone on her career, dude. If she beats Zhang, she's definitely not only a Hall of Famer, but I put her in the women's GOAT category, dude. Like, in that conversation, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But if she loses, might be time to ride off into the sunset.
It's funny that you mentioned something about the women's GOAT because had a bit of a controversy on Rousey.
What's that?
Oh, you didn't hear her going around? I forgot what podcast it was.
I mean, her talking about Joe Rogan?
Not only Joe Rogan, but she said she would have beat the shit out of Islam, no, not Islam, his buddy there.
Khabib?
Yes. Yeah, she said she'd beat the shit out of Khabib.
What?
Yes.
Well, Ronda has brain damage, so, I mean, that's not... bro, like, I'm being dead serious with you. Like, that's why she had to retire because like Amanda and I honestly think it started with that head kick that Holly Holm hit her with. Like, Ronda, she had so many concussions in a short time that she had to stop. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's rough to see a fighter's career end like that because she was insanely popular for her run, and man, you hate to see somebody like that. See, I didn't realize that it was because of all the concussions she had. I thought she just kind of ran her course, and that's why she had left because she was getting her ass kicked.
Well, it's a combination, bro. Like, let me put it this way. She had the concussions, right? But the other thing is, Ronda always ran her mouth, dude. She always ran her mouth. I remember her saying she could beat Floyd Mayweather. Like Ronda has always believed in her mind that she is capable of beating top flight male fighters. I don't share the same confidence.
She also said that she could beat the shit out of Cain Velasquez.
She said that?
Yes. I'm 90% sure. Because I'm pretty sure it was him, but it was at least some heavyweight she was talking about.
Bro, like, come on, man. I don't even think we need to actually, like, give that any airtime. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Cain Velasquez? Like,
yes.
So not only a heavyweight, but, like, truly, like, Cain's story is a sad one, man. Like, and I'm not talking about, like, the prison sentence and stuff, because I actually, not to get politically 100% agree with what he did. But his UFC career, like, Cain could have been greatest heavyweights. He, in my opinion, he still is one of the greatest heavyweights, but his legacy got stopped short with all those knee injuries, man. Like, Cain could have been good for a really long time, dude. And it's just sad that the knee injuries, like, took away his career. because I really believe Kane would have probably been. He would have just retired now, probably like 2 years ago, maybe. I think he's like 40. How old is Kane right now?
Hold on. Okay, yeah, she definitely did say it about Cain Velasquez. I just wanted to make sure that I was getting it right talking about it, but hold on. I'll get it now. He's 43.
So it's not uncommon UFC heavyweights go into their early 40s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Kane probably would have like just retired a year or two ago, hadn't had those knee injuries, and wrestlers tend to tend to have more longevity than the strikers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They tend to have more longevity because wrestling translates like you don't take as many strikes. Your cardio, you can keep your cardio, but yeah, that's absolutely bananas that she would say something like that.
And I think that she said she could have beat Prime Cain Velasquez.
Of course she did. She's not going to say I could beat washed Cain Velasquez. Like, that's not saying much, but it's like, do you really buy that?
Not anyway, because she's given up what 100 pounds bare minimum, just to start with that part right there.
Not to mention Kane's got fucking hammers, dude. Like, have you seen Kane's hands? Like, Kane throws dogs, bro. Like, man, that would be an absolute slaughter. Like, absolute slaughter. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Ronda's lost her mind, bro. If she really honestly believes that, she's lost her mind. But yeah, dude. So Valentina and Zhang, I mean, that's going to be a crazy fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know who's going to win that one. I'm hoping for Valentina, but Zhang, my head kind of leans toward Zhang just because of the power advantage. And Zhang she's not a clumsy striker that like just hits a lucky shot once in a while. She knows how to put it on the money, dude. She's got very crisp combinations. She's got stiff kicks, body kicks, and leg kicks. Everything she's gonna hit Valentina with is gonna hurt. That's the thing is like, so Valentina is gonna have to fight almost a perfect fight, and that's very hard to do against world-class competition. But it's not impossible. I mean, look back at Rose Namajunas when she beat Zhang, when she head kicked her, right? And then also, Rose didn't just beat her once; Rose beat her twice. She managed to win by decision the second time, although it was a really close fight. So the blueprint is there for beating Zhang. It's a very tough build, man. You know what I mean? So, but we haven't even talked about Islam and Jack. I mean, like, it's just because for me, the Zhang and Valentina fight is the real main event on that card.
Yeah, it definitely is. At bare minimum, a super fight for the women's division. Oh, you're breaking up there, Joe.
Involved. Yeah.
Bear with us for a few moments while Joe's phone has a bit of a stroke on us. But yeah, I personally am a huge fan of Zhang Weili and have been since her title fight there at UFC 300. Okay, now we might have a Joe back.
Yeah, it's just my street. For whatever reason, the internet cuts out when I go down until I get the end of my street. But to me, that's the real main event on that card is Zhang and Valentina because of the legacy, right? Like Islam, I mean, it's a difficult call, I guess. I'm sure more fans that are not hardcore fans are looking forward to the Islam Jack Della Maddalena fight because Islam's very popular, and it's can he capture a belt at a second weight class? But when you look at Zhang versus Valentina, she's had success at both bantamweight and flyweight. Like in my opinion, she holds the win over Amanda Nunes. And then she came down to flyweight and had the most dominant title run in women's flyweight history. I think she's got. Can you check her defenses again? I think she had like at least 7 defenses before she lost the belt to Alexa Grasso, and then now she's already got she added another defense.
Yeah, hold on, looking right now. All right. Okay, how many defenses were you looking for here?
Well, in her first title run, I think she had like 7.
Yeah, okay. She wins it in 18, so 1. Yeah, she had 7 exactly.
Bro, like 7 title defenses is this isn't. We're not talking about the Anderson Silva days where you could have a prime champion that goes like because let's be honest, like as Anderson Silva was, the UFC wasn't the same at that time. There, you still had, even though it wasn't like UFC 1 where it was like style versus style.
Mm-hmm.
Guys still weren't as well rounded. You know what I mean? You still had guys like Sean Shirk and Matt Hughes, like guys who were primary specialists at one form or another, like wrestling or whatever. The fighters were not as well rounded, so it was easier. I'm not trying to say it was easy, but I'm trying to say it was more likely that you would get those long reigning champions, like Matt Hughes, GSP, guys like that, right? Now, every fighter is so well rounded that it's very difficult to put together 4 or 5 title defenses, man. That's a very impressive feat now. Check, for example, she's considered the women's strawweight GOAT because she has 5. Although Zhang, people would probably argue now that Zhang has taken that GOAT status, right? She's a 2-time champion. She beat Ilana. The only person she didn't beat was Rose. She beat Carla Esparza. John might have taken that, but John for so his legacy on the line. Like if Zhang becomes a 2-time champion, be a 2-time strawweight champion, then a flyweight champion, and she beat Valentina.
Yeah, that's a hell of a resume.
Whereas Valentina is right. Whereas Valentina, in my opinion, and not just my opinion, there are people who believe that second Amanda Nunes fight should have gone to. It was very close, but I feel Valentina edged that fight. Valentina is going for one of the legends, right? Valentina's resume is already pretty impressive. I mean, she fought Amanda Nunes twice. She went on a crazy title run. She's also a 2-time champion. Valentina too. That's why I kind of put that fight ahead in terms of legacy is because there's a lot of legacy on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam fight, it's definitely for but
Oh, we got a bit of a frozen Joe going on here.
what's that?
You were frozen there for a bit, so we didn't get to hear what you said.
Oh, what what was the last thing you heard?
You were talking about the legacy of the Valentina and Zhang Wei Li fight there, and kind of had talked about pretty much being that
The
it's
Jack and
less
Islam fight.
yeah.
Yeah, because if Jack wins, the first thing that's going to come out of people's mouths is, well, Islam moved up to 170 and it was just too much for him, right? Like Jack, I don't feel like Jack is going to get the credit that he deserves for knocking off a legend in Islam. Because keep in mind, Islam only has one loss, man, and it was like his first UFC fight. He's on like a 20 fight win streak, dude. Like, so, but he should get credit for it. I mean, that's a hell of a first title defense, right? But it raises some interesting questions. And this is just me, and my professor disagrees with me. I believe if Islam loses, I think he might retire. I see him going back.
Yeah, I could definitely see him putting on those running shoes and retiring to get away from Ilya, because that's almost his next fight, damn near no matter what, whether he wins or loses. Granted, if he wins, you can still set it up with a couple defenses first, but I think the writing's on the wall for the UFC that they're trying to get these two to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think best if Islam really doesn't want to fight Ilya, he has to win, because if he wins, they can't really justify going up and being his first defense, because there are guys already in line in that division that deserve the title shot.
Then
Brady fought Belal. Brady is fighting who is Sean Brady fighting?
yeah, hold on, looking that up right now. Sean Brady is fighting Michael Morales.
Morales. And then Belal is fighting. Is he fighting Ian Machado Gary?
Hold on, let me see who he's fighting. Yeah, he's fighting Ian Machado Gary.
Right. So whoever wins those two fights has a real shot, right? Now, one thing that they could do, technically speaking, is they could put those guys on the back burner and make the winners of those two fights fight each other for the next title shot and give Ilya the title shot. They could do that, and I wouldn't put it past the UFC to do that. I don't think it would be fair, but they could do that. But then you have Shavkat, who is coming back in February from his injury, and Shavkat's last win was for Ian Machado Gary. There's a argument that Shavkat doesn't fighter yet. Argument.
Okay, what was that, Joe? We just missed that because you were breaking up. Oh, I think we lost Joe.
Shavkat doesn't deserve. I'm right here.
Okay. Yeah, you keep freezing. We're barely getting you, but we're starting to get you now. Yeah, we got you.
Yes, dude. Sorry, I apologize to you.
Oh, now we fully lost him. Oh, but yeah. I almost think with the way that they're kind of prepping up Sean Brady here for fighting on the same card, that if he does win his fight here coming up Saturday, that it will be him that ends up getting the next title shot, just because you see how Dana White has his favorite guys here and who he likes to kind of promote. And with some of the press that I've been hearing on Sean Brady, it makes it seem like that might be a next guy going up. And we should be getting Joe back here soon. Possibly. There we go. There we go.
I apologize, man. So there's an argument, and it's a valid argument, that Shavkat doesn't deserve the next title shot because he hasn't beaten a top 5 fighter. His last win was over Ian Machado Gary, and then he got injured, right?
Mhm.
But Shavkat's on a heck of a run, man. And like, so does he deserve to lose out on the title shot that he had already earned because he got injured? That's a valid question.
Yeah, but to me, what I was saying while you were out is it kind of seems like the UFC's kind of trying to force Sean Brady into the next fight if he ends up winning this one.
I don't think that they have to force him. I think he's
Well,
earned it.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
you
I
know
get
what I
you're
mean.
saying. That's what they want to do. But
Yes.
I don't think they have to try too hard. Like Brady has, in my opinion, he's earned it. Like
Mhm.
he's fought a lot of the top guys, and now he's, if he beats Morales, there's a compelling argument for him. But he did lose to Bilal though, and that's the only thing is, like, he has a loss to Bilal, who's in the top 5, and I don't think Brady has beaten a top 5 guy yet.
Are you with my Gabby? Oh, okay. So the middle school still has a full day today. Do you still want to take her?
Oh, they have a full day. Okay, I guess I'll just come back later.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. All right. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like, I don't personally believe that Shavkat deserves to get passed over simply because he got injured. But the compelling argument with that is that he hasn't beaten a top. I believe that down with that.
Hey, you're breaking up again.
Who's still in the picture?
And kind of, you're coming back more. And we got a frozen Joe. Sorry about the technical issues here, but Joe had to run out and get his kid for a half a day, so it kind of messed up the schedule a little bit. And hey, there we go. All right, there you go. Now you're coming in. Partially.
blue and it say Q.
It open.
Yeah, the bag is blue and it's a Q.
Okay, I think you're coming in now.
This is going to be the worst rated show we ever had.
Oh, probably.
We apologize, guys, to the viewers, but I had to go pick up my kids. But you know, I was talking about Shavkat. Like, it's a legitimate argument that Shavkat deserved to lose his title shot because he got injured. But then there's the valid argument of he hasn't beat a top 5 fighter yet. So there's people that feel he should fight a top 5 fighter before getting the shot, and I'm fine with that. Like, I think that's perfectly fair to expect,
Then
especially since Brady and other guys are fighting top 5 guys.
who would you like to see Shavkat fight then?
See, that's the interesting thing is who's available, because let's look at the top 5. You have Morales is fighting Brady. I know Brady's like number 2, right? He's number 1 or 2, or 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, Brady is 2. Shavkat is
Brady's
3.
2. Shavkat is 3. Ian Machado Gary is what, 5?
He's 6.
6. Okay. So
Carl
Gary's
Usman
fighting.
Carl Usman is 5, and he does not have a fight booked yet, so that might be a spot.
Ooh, dude. Now, take my money, bro. Like, Kamaru and Shavkat, that's an interesting fight. That's a very interesting fight. Kamaru's wrestling against Shavkat's grappling, and Shavkat has that crazy striking, but you know, Kamaru can strike too, man. Like, he has, don't forget his little knockout streak that he had. Like, there's a lot to be intrigued about in that fight, and the winner would probably get a title shot. Yeah, I'm with it, especially because like Kamaru doesn't have a fight lined up yet, and Shavkat's supposed to be back in February. The only thing is I think they're trying to give Shavkat a tune-up fight. Like, they want to get his feet back under him before they start throwing him in there with the top 5 guys, right?
Yeah, but don't we usually not see tune-up fights really in the UFC? I'm used to seeing it in boxing, but I can't remember too much of it in the UFC.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's not something that's common in UFC, but I do think for Shavkat it makes sense because you're coming off a serious knee injury. Do you really want to go into? You want to know that you can trust that knee. You know what I mean? Like, you want to go into your next your fight with a top 5 guy. You want to go in there knowing that you can trust that knee, and know that at this point, you know. So yeah, it's I don't know. That's an interesting. You try to take a tune-up fight, and by tune-up fight, I just mean fighting down the rankings, right? Not fighting a complete bum, but like if Shavkat's 3, then he might decide to fight a guy that's like number 9 or number 10, who still has a chance, but is not going to be. It's not going to be a pick'em fight. One more favorite, right?
Yeah. The only one that I see right now that doesn't have a fight booked in the very near future would be Gabriel Bofim.
I guess they could do that if they wanted to. Yeah. Personally, again, I'm not advocating. I'm not saying that, tune-up fights should become a regular thing, but I do understand the logic behind it of wanting to make sure that you can trust that knee when you when you come back. But yeah, I could see how that wouldn't be popular. You know, people kind of want you to jump right back into the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And like you said, it's been what, a year off for him?
just about. It's been a while. You know, so and let's not forget, like that last fight with Ian Machado Gary was dicey, man.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. Like, there are people who think that Machado Gary should have won that fight. And, you know, I mean, he took Shavkat's back. He had Shavkat's back for good portions of a couple of those rounds, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Threatening with the choke. So I don't think that their argument is completely without merit. I was happy, put it this way, when Shavkat got the decision, I was like, you know, like I thought that fight could have gone either way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting. The welterweight landscape is definitely interesting, and we'll see what happens with it. If Islam wins, I think he'll have to defend that belt before they just throw Ilya in there. I think, you know, I believe he should have to defend against one of the actual welterweight contenders, but the UFC might decide, nah, we're just going to go ahead and cash out now, you know? We're going to go ahead and cash Islam's chips in for him, like, you know? I could see it going either way, because that Islam versus Ilya fight, whether it's at 155 or 170, is a huge money fight.
Absolutely.
Money makes the world go around, right? But, you know, there's no guarantee that Islam is going to win this fight, because you remember last fight with Jack, when Jack won the title from Bilal, Jack trained with Craig Jones for that fight. You know, I've talked about Craig Jones,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
He's an Australian grappling guy. He runs an invitational grappling tournament every year called CJI, Craig Jones Invitational. I don't know what his belt is in actual gi jiu-jitsu. Can you pull that up? Can you see what he is?
Yep.
But I can say he's one of the best grapplers in the entire world. And so Jack worked with him again for this fight. Like, so you've got another 4 or 5 month training camp, 4 months, let's say, like 12 to 16 weeks, 3 to 4 month training camp, working with Craig Jones again. And he probably didn't forget what he learned for Bilal, because these are two very similar styles that he's approaching, right?
He's a black belt. He got it in December of 16.
I figured, but I just didn't want to say, he's a black belt and then be proven wrong. Because there's guys like, I think it's Gordon Ryan. I think Gordon Ryan is a purple belt as far as rank goes, but he's like black belt skill level. He just doesn't train in the gi anymore. Like, he only trains no gi. So, like, remember what I told you, you can only get promoted in a gi. Like, as my professor said, jiu-jitsu without a gi is not jiu-jitsu, it's grappling. There's a difference. And you can only get promoted in a gi. So I think Gordon Ryan doesn't train in the gi anymore. So he'll never get, if he doesn't train in the gi, he'll never get his black belt. But he's definitely like black belt level, you know what I mean? So all that to say, that Jack Della Maddalena has been training with Craig Jones again for this fight. So I expect his takedown defense to be even more on point than it was for the Bilal fight, because that was just like his first time working with Craig Jones. Now it's his second time. So you would expect it.
Yeah, that was like what? Like a 3-6 month camp with him?
Like 3-4 month camp. And now he's doing another 3 to 4 month camp, right? And it's not like he doesn't train when he's not in camp, right? Like, he's still training. I don't know if he's training with Craig Jones, but I know he, like, when his camp started, he brought Craig Jones in. I do expect that to make a difference. Like, so let's break this down in our last few minutes. Like, if you're Jack Della Maddalena and you're going up against Islam, right? You know Islam is a grappling heavy style, right? But he's not afraid to stand up either.
Mhm.
Like he'll stand up with you, but if it starts not going his way, he's definitely going to look to take it down, right? And his
Mhm.
submission game is top notch. I'll point you to that Darce that he put on Dustin Poirier. But no, but the reason I say that is because of how that Darce was set up. Like,
Mhm.
did you see the ankle pick that he hit him with? That where it spun Dustin around and Dustin like tried to regain his balance. He put his hand down on the ground, and while he was trying to regain his balance, is when Islam jumped on him and put the Darce on him.
I was
Like,
gonna say, wasn't that one of the ones we broke down before the UFC cracked down on us?
pick
I
that
remember
he hit him with.
yeah, I remember us doing a Darce choke. I just don't remember which one.
I think it was that Islam Darce, or it might have been that John Silva versus Bryce Mitchell, like standing. It was like a standing Darce.
I don't think that's the one we were talking about. I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure that this one was a regular Darce.
Yeah, so it might have been that Islam one where he ankle picked him, dude. He ankle tapped him, and it like spun Poirier around just enough to where, in that scramble where he's trying to regain his balance, Islam dove on him and hit, and not just dove on him, but to be able, it's hard enough to dive on somebody and be able to control them, but to dive on him and right into a Darce, like he locked
Mhm.
that Darce up so fast that it was just like, holy cow, man. That's when I knew, like, because I thought that was the best fight of Dustin's career, in my opinion. Like, he going into that fifth round, that was a close fight. Dustin's takedown defense had kept Islam from ground fucking him, and Dustin had landed some good shots. Like, it was anybody's fight going into that fifth round. And then when he ankle tapped him and hit that Darce, I was like, oh, I was heartbroken because obviously, my man DP, I wanted him to win, but you can't be mad at that, dude. When you see a something high level like that, you're just like, you can't. You're like, fuck. It's like watching Shemaev destroy Dricus Duplessis, right? Like, was it a boring fight? Yeah, but was it so high level that you can't really be mad at it? Also, yeah, when somebody's showing you a mastery of something, like, you just have to appreciate what you're watching, dude.
Oh
But
yeah.
I said all that because now to set this up for you. So if you're Jack, what is your strategy for this fight?
Well, you got to assume with how good Islam is on the ground that Jack's going to want to keep this standing. And granted, Islam's no slouch in the stand-up game, but you got to think that that's Jack Delamade's best opportunity to win this fight. It is from that because he's good with the takedown defense and all of that. And if I remember correctly, he's pretty decent on the ground himself, but there's a huge difference in level between him and Islam.
In the grappling, you mean?
Yeah, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and push back on that, and I'm going to say, if based on how he looked against Bilal, like, he was able to knock Bilal through a loop in the fifth round because Bilal couldn't take him down that whole fight. Like, his takedown defense was so good that he forced Bilal to fight a kind of fight that Bilal is not a stand-up fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a stand-up striker. Like, that's not his game. Jack was able to force him to fight Jack's fight. Now, granted, Islam is a better submission grappler than Bilal, but when it comes to, like, offensive, like, wrestling grappling, I think they're pretty close. Bilal, let's not take anything from him. Like, I'm not a fan of Bilal. I don't really like his style, but he's a tough out.
Mhm.
You know, like he's a leg humper to me, but he will hump your leg, and he's very good at it. Like he will
Mhm.
hump your leg in the cage, and then he will eventually get you down, and he will smother you. Islam style better because even though he is also a bit of a leg humper, like he's not looking to get you down and just control you.
Mhm.
He's looking when he
Finish
gets you
it.
down, he's going for the finish. Like he's always looking for the finish, and I like that about Islam.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know. I don't know that Islam is that much better at grappling than Jack overall. Submission grappling, definitely. But when it comes
Now,
to go
if you
ahead.
take out takedown defense, would you say that he's a much better grappler?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you
Okay,
take out takedown
because
defense,
that's how I look at it. Is I look at takedown defense as almost a subcategory of its own outside of grappling.
well, yeah, you're definitely right. It is a subcategory. Um, but for me, everything hinges on Jack's takedown defense. Because if Islam is able to take Jack down, I have no confidence that Jack is going to be able to last 5 rounds like that. Islam will eventually find a submission. But if Jack is able to not get taken down for 5 rounds, all of a sudden, I have a lot of confidence can beat Islam in a stand-up fight. Islam puts his chin out there. He takes
Mhm.
risks, man. Um, and so that's the thing is that's why I say that the grappling level is I'm not convinced that Islam is that much of a better grappler. When I say that, it's strictly Islam's takedown offense versus Jack's takedown defense. Because everything else depends on that. Islam can have all the pretty submissions in the world, but if he can't get Jack on the ground, it doesn't matter.
It's worth. No, I get what you're saying. I was just trying to put it in like a pure ground aspect of the grappling or up against the cage.
Yeah, no, Islam is definitely more well-rounded in grappling. Like he's a much better submission guy. His transitions are flawless. Like he's Khabib, but with a harder edge. You know, like he's Khabib who's willing to take more risks to get the finish. You know,
Mhm.
um, so yeah, I definitely get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. I think Islam overall is a better grappler, but when it comes to takedown offense versus takedown defense, I think that we're going to find out, right? But
Mhm.
I really think that having Craig Jones train him for this fight after already having trained him for Bilal, I expect Jack's takedown defense on another level, dude.
Mhm.
And this is going to be like, see, the thing is for Jack, this is a great thing for him going forward, right? Because what do you see in that top 10 in the welterweight division? There's a lot of grapplers. There's a lot. You got Kamaru Usman, right? You got Sean Brady. You've got Ian Machado Gary. You've got Shavkat, although Shavkat can strike as well, but Shavkat, he has that, he loves to, grapple too.
Mhm.
And that's just in like the top 5, 6. Like, you go out even further. So it bodes well for him if he can beat Islam, if he can keep from getting taken down by Islam, then that bodes well for him as far as like the potential to have a pretty decent time, dude. You know? Like he already beat Bilal, right? And then
Mhm.
he beats Islam. Like, and then now it's like Brady. Okay, like if you're Jack, you gotta feel good about that, right? You gotta feel like, okay, I'm not out of my element here, right? Or Ian Machado Gary, you gotta feel like, okay, like his jujitsu is very, very, very good, but he's got to get me down, you know.
Mhm.
And Jack, as quiet as it's kept, Jack is a scrappy Australian dude. Like, just not to generalize people, but just from what I've noticed in the UFC, Australian dudes, they may not all be the most skilled guys, but they're tough sons of bitches, dude. You look at like Dan Hooker, right? Alexander Volkanovski. You've got Israel. He's a Kiwi, but he's, still, I don't know. He's not Australian, but he's a tough son of a bitch too. Jack Della Maddalena. There's more. I'm Jimmy. I think Jimmy Crute is an Australian. They're all just really tough, scrappy dudes. You know what I mean? Like they're not pussies, dude. Like you're gonna know you've been in a fight when you fight one of those Australian dudes. So there's something to be said for that, because I think this fight is going to test Islam's grit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you hit a guy and he doesn't go away? What do you do when you can't take him down and now you've got to strike with him and you're hitting him with everything you've got and he doesn't go away? Right?
Oh,
does that excite you about this fight?
Mm-hmm.
How do you hope this fight goes, Ken?
How do I hope it goes? I honestly hope Islam does win this one, and even give him another title defense, and hope that that's successful, so we can see the super fight. Granted, yes, if he loses, there's still a chance we could see him against Ilya, but I want to see it as a champion versus champion fight. But that I'm not trying to take anything from Jack Della Maddalena, because he's a hell of a guy and he's got a good shot at winning this. It's just I prefer to see Islam with it, just because of the implications that could happen.
Mm-hmm. But how do you want the fight itself to go? Like, do you want to see Islam able to take Jack down, or do you want to see Jack be able to stifle the takedowns and they have to box it out?
I would prefer to see them box it out for most of this fight. Now, I still do think Islam will get him to the ground at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see most of this fight being stand-up, because I want to see how Islam responds when you like you said, how you got a guy that just will not go down, because I think that's going to be very indicative of the Ilya fight.
Well, and we've never seen Islam in a 5-round stand-up fight,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's always been able to get the guy down, always, right? I think this is the first fight where you're going to see him have to spend the majority of his time on the feet. Like, I'm not saying I agree with you. I think at some point he will get Jack down.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least one time, I think he's that crafty. He's that good. But I think Jack will be able to get back up. And that's the thing is like, especially for setting up this Ilya fight, we really need to see how Islam does in a 5-round stand-up fight, because that Ilya fight, like, Ilya can wrestle too, but that, I don't know. See, that's a whole nother thing. We don't have time to get into that right now. That Ilya versus Islam fight, we could spend a whole hour breaking that one down, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And we may end up, but we'll see, we're out of time for this week, guys. Sorry about the trouble with the internet and stuff. We hope you'll come back next week. We shouldn't have these technical difficulties again. Ken, you got anything you want to say before we go out?
Other than, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. We will see you here at the same exact time next week. Enjoy the fights this Saturday, and we will have a whole bunch to talk about next Wednesday.
Yeah, yo, it's game time, ain't no messing around. Huddle Sports Network, the best in town. From NFL rumors to the latest trends, we got all your sports, just tune in, my friends. Catch us on Roku, Fire Stick, take your pick. Facebook, YouTube, where the action's slick.